Hello there, and you're very welcome to another episode of the Arkham Avengers FFPL podcast. You join me, the host, along with Eamon, Hector, and Captain Fantastical Mick, where we take a look to see how the managers in this league are getting on for the season. However, we'll also be talking about much more. So kick back, stay tuned, and enjoy. Welcome everyone to this week's episode. On this week's show, there's just Eamon and myself. Eamon, how are you?
Well, I'm very well, thank you, and it's always good to be on the show this time of the week when we are recording, taking a look at the league, and as always, the listener can depend on me. I will always be here.
Thanks, Eamon. Thank you very much there, and good to have you with us this week here. Of course, there is no Captain Fantastical Mick. He's getting to grips with his Blackpool squad, especially now, of course, after their FA Cup loss to Southampton there. That's probably not the start that he wanted. What would you say, Eamon?
Yes, I think that Captain Fantastical Mick will have his work cut out. He's going to have to be on the ball, pardon the pun. But it's not the end of the world. Look, they're probably better off to be out of the FA Cup. They're going to concentrate now on survival, getting them out of that relegation area there.
And of course, we have no Hector either with us on this show this week.
Yes, I noticed that it's not Actor Hector. Hector usually is here with us unless he's managed to get himself lost. And let's face it, it's been a while since he went astray. But it was due something of a faux pas from the Hector every now and then. Have we heard from the Hector?
Hector actually took himself off to Monaghan there. Do you remember last week? The Recitation Mystery Man in Moydow sent in an email to say that there was this recitation, songs, poems, yarns, stories. This was up in the Monaghan Market House. It was there last night. Now, Hector went up there, but we haven't heard from him since.
Perhaps possibly abducted by an unidentified flying object, maybe?
Hey, man, this is not a show for UFOs.
Well, if he hasn't come back, maybe he's just decided to stay there. Hector, if you're staying there, will you let us know?
He did say he will be back. He just said, look, he's gone there. He wouldn't make the show. He'll be back next week. No doubt we'll hear how Hector got on there. I suppose moving along swiftly here, Eamon, will we take a look at Gameweek 21?
Indeed, I'm all set and ready.
The highest points, Gameweek 21. 136, and the average points were 65. Now, there's no change, Eamon, in first place. The good, the bad, and the goalie, 88 points. One transfer. Do you want to have a look at the team there?
They had the one transfer, as you said. Odegaard came in for 5 points. Martinelli went out for 2. In goals, they had Ederson, 6 points. Trippier was there with 8 points. Shaw had no points. White had no points. De Bruyne picked up 6 points. Rashford had 7. Odegaard had 5. Almiron had 3 points. Nekatea had 13 points. Kane had 6 points. And they had Haaland as the captain, who picked up a very handsome 34 points. It was a decent transfer, I have to say. Odegaard is quite good. Got the 5 points. Pity that they played the triple captain last week. If they played triple captain this week, this guy would really be singing the high notes. However, it wasn't meant to be. They're keeping ahead of the pack, but the pack are chasing. And the pack are hungry. They're snipping like little hungry dogs at the heels of this manager. And he better keep running.
He better keep running, because up to second place is Kane's a keeper with 90 points. No transfers, Eamon. And I'll talk you through this team here. In goals was Arrizabalaga with 9 points. Gabriel, 1 point. Trippier, 8 points. Botman, 6 points. Odegaard, 5 points. De Bruyne, 6 points. Rashford, 5 points. Martinelli, 2 points. Mahrez, 6 points. Kane, 6 points. Haaland was the captain for 34 points. Now, Eamon.
Well, you have to say this manager is cruising at the moment. I mean, they're putting in lightning scores. They're moving up this board, up this league table very quickly here. I think the name change is working. Look, Antje, it's all paid out because Cancelo has gone now off to Germany. No point having him in your name when he's not about there. It's a good, solid result. this manager will be very pleased with what they have there, and they're really now starting to push for first place. This is the manager who won last year, and he's pushing to get first place back. Question is, can he take it and can he hold it?
And as a result of Kane's keeper going up to second spot there, Tayega are down to third. 76 points, 1 transfer. Tony came in for 1 point. Mitrovic went out for 2 points. Eamon, the team.
Well, the goalkeeper is this guy, Arrizabalaga, again, 9 points. Trippier had 8 points. Shaw didn't get any points. They had White also, who didn't get any points. Anges got 2 points. De Bruyne picked up 6 points. Almiron had 3 points. Rashford 7 points. They had Kane for 6 points. Tony 1 point, and they also had Haaland as the captain and got 34 points. I think the transfer really didn't work out. Tony didn't do business for them. This manager, to me, he just seems to have taken their eye off the ball. Pardon the pun here. I think they should have been taking proactive steps to hold second place and to work on making sure that Kane's keeper didn't knock him off second spot there. And it'd be interesting to see what this manager can do now. They've got to bounce back here. They've got to show grit and determination.
No change either then in fourth place. Lafayette Lions with 62 points, 1 transfer. March came in for 2 points and Hochberg went out for 3 points. The goalkeeper was Pope, 6 points. Shaw, no point. Castagni had 1 point. Trippier had 8 points. March had 2 points. Rashford, 7 points. Martinelli, 2 points. De Bruyne, 6 points. Garnacho had 1 point. Haaland had the 17 points. And this week they went for Kane as the captain and got 12 points, Eamon. Poor transfer, I have to say. Hochberg being put out. He doesn't do a lot, but he certainly did better than Marsh there. Poor captain choice as well. Haaland is the go-to guy at the moment. You got to stick with him, at least there. I think this manager is starting to look a little unsure of themselves. They're still in fourth. They're doing okay. They're holding the course there. I had thought, though, that they would at least be holding third place, pushing for a second. They're waning slightly here, and that's a concern for me. No change either in fifth place. Best season ever. 75 points. Eamon 1 transfer.
Mahrez was brought in for 6 points. Foden went out for 0 point. In goals was De Gea with 1 point. Saliba had 1 point. Trippier picked up 8 points. Castagni picked up 1 point. Odegaard had 5 points. Almiron picked up 3 points. Norgard had 3 points. Rashford had 7 points. Mahrez had 6 points. Kane had 6 points. And they went with Haaland for their captain and got themselves 34 points. The transfer worked. Foden is not capable of doing anything at the moment. He's a bit injured. Mahrez is back in the good books, is getting game time, getting points. They went with the right captain. Good choice there. Left some points on the bench though, and this is an issue here. And Nekate had 13 points. Perisic had 6 points. It's a case of, oops, that's going to smart a little bit. All those points count.
And up to 6th place then is Arkham Avengers. 94 points and a wild card played. The team lineup looks the following here. Goalkeeper Pope, 6 points. Me, 6 points. Trippier, 8 points. White, 0 point. Rashford, 7 points. Odegaard, 5 points. De Bruyne, 6 points. Mitoma got 10 points. Mahrez, 6 points. Kane got 6 points. And they had Haaland as the captain for 34 points. Eamon, one of your favourite managers, what have you to say?
I'm going to just say the spoofer strikes back.
Okay, go on.
Interesting to see him play the wild card. Probably it worked out well. Got 94 points. Has a fairly decent looking team there. They've collected, other than White, they collected some very hefty points there. It's a very good return for the spoofer. The spoofer is showing form from the dismal run there before the World Cup. They've come back reinvigorated. They've come back with an attitude. They've come back with a fight, which is good to see from them there. They're in 6th place. They've held themselves up there. There is battle going on all around them. It'll be quite interesting to see what they're going to do next. Can they get into a top 5 position? At the moment, they're fighting for it. I think the two weak managers here in the top 5 is Tayega and Lafayette Lions, which leaves scope for best season ever and Arkham Avengers to skip into 5th, provided that they keep this form up.
And down to 7th is Raglan Road, 75 points, 1 transfer. Eamon.
Yes, they brought in Marsh as well, 2 points, but they put Billing out and Billing didn't get any points. Goalkeeper Edison got 6 points. Botman got 6 points. Trippier picked up 8 points for them. Gabriel had 1 point. Salah had 3 points. Marsh had 2 points. Zaha picked up 3 points. Almiron had 3 points. Rashford had 7. Havertz had 2 points. And they had Haaland as their captain for 34 points there. It's a good tally of points. But they got sideswiped by the Arkham Avengers this week. Didn't see that coming, the wild card. They had a few points on the bench, which they're rude that they didn't have on their pitch. A couple of guys really not doing much there this week. Salah's not cutting the mustard. Marsh didn't bring anything there. Zaha has a bit of blown hot and cold. Almiron seems to have gone a bit off the boil to me there. And I'm not sure whether the Havertz guy. He's not one that I would be rolling into my team. But Raglan will have to adjust and will have to reflect, see where they go from here now. They're in trouble, I think. They had a nice run in the top 5. They were battling away, and a little bit like Lafayette Lions, they seem to have lost that way ever so slightly. Now, we've no change in 8th place. Their Blightsome squad, 64 points, and they didn't have a transfer now. Their goalkeeper was Sanchez for 1 point. Trippier, 8 points. White, no point. Castagne, 1 point. Odegaard, 5 points. Mahrez, 6 points. Salah, 3 points. Willock, 3 points. Tony, 1 point. Havertz, 2 points. They had Haaland as the captain for 34 points. Eamon, Blightsome are still in 8th. Yeah, in 8th. I think the side looks a little bit weak to me. Again, Salah's not doing much. Willock's not doing much. Tony is, yes, he might get you some points some week, but you need somebody who's going to do the business week in, week out for you there. Again, Havertz, 2 points. That's 2 strikers, 3 points out of them. Like, I suppose the manager here is going, and like a lot of the managers here, they're going to be thinking, thank gosh that Haaland done something and I had him as a captain there. Because, I mean, he actually got 34 points. The rest of that team scuttled together 30 points. And you look at that, that's some indictment, so it is there. I think they need to improve. They're liable here to be in a lull, in a rut, not doing what they can be doing and pushing there. Now up to 9th place then is What a Beauty 99, 68 points. No transfers. Well, their goalkeeper was Pope for 6 points. Martinez had 8 points. Cancelo didn't get anything. Salaba had 1 point. Trippier had 8 points. Trossard had 1. De Bruyne had 6 points. Martinelli had 2 points. McAllister had 1 point. Tony had 1 point. And the captain, Haaland, had 34 points there. Quite a few average players here, if you ask me. We were talking about McAllister. Trossard not doing much. Salaba is just ticking away. The Tony is there as well. Cancelo is really not, well, he's gone now, but he wasn't doing anything. So why would you have him there in the first place? As such, we asked the question there. I have to say they're on the way up, but let's not get too excited here, okay? And also up to 10th place is Maximum Effort, 85 points, and they played a wild card. Goalkeeper was Pope, 6 points. Trippier, 8 points. Botman, 6 points. Kofil, 6 points. Saka, 9 points. Grosh, 2 points. Odegaard, 5 points. De Bruyne, 6 points. Tony, 1 point. Mitrovic, 2 points. They had Haaland, captain, 34 points. I think it was a good call for their wildcard. It's about time they started to do something here. We did ask last week, after a good result, what could they do to follow up? Could they follow up? And they certainly have this week, and it's a good result. Nice to see that. They've broken into the top 10. As I said before, they have this capability. They just don't apply themselves enough, and that's the problem here. And down to 11th is Kalish Bait, 36 points and no transfer. We are now entering, if our listeners are unsure of this territory, this is usually the area of no transfers. We're in a no transfer zone here. It'll go on for about at least 3 or 4 managers. Kalish Bait, one of our favourites. I'm not going to do anything with my team managers. In goals was Ward, and he only just got the point. Yoshenko got 1 point. Neco Williams got 1 point. Trippier had 8 points. Harrison had 3 points. Salah had 3 points. Rodrigo got 2 points. St. Maximin came in with 1 point. Almiron was there with 3 points. Tony came in with 1 point. And their vice captain, Kane, got 12 points. Last week I was saying that it was going to be next stop, 10th place. And boy, it turns out I should have said 11th. And perhaps maybe maybe I should tempt fate and say it could be 13th next week. But look, they're going in the right direction. They're not doing anything. They don't deserve to be any higher. It's an express elevator going down for them. Up to 12th place now here. Surprise, surprise. Real, no stars. 66 points with no transfers. Now their team lineup is the following. Edison was in goals, 6 points. Cucurello, 6 points. Walker Peters, 2 points. Alexander Arnold, 1 point. Salah, 3 points. De Bruyne, 6 points. Aronson, 3 points. Doucouré, 2 points. Martinelli, 2 points. Greenwood, 1 point. And Haaland, captain, 34 points. Eamon, this is a bit of a surprise to see this manager going up. Yes, but there's not much in it. They're 1 point ahead of 14th place. So let's not get carried away here. This manager is a bit like his buddy Kalish Page. They're not doing anything. Let's not get carried away here. And let's move on, because I'm not wasting time and energy talking about a manager here who's not doing anything. And as a result of their going up to 12, down to 13th is Silver Stroke, 64 points. Now, they had one transfer. They brought Alexander Arnold in for 1 point to put Cancelo out for no points. In goals was Ederson, 6 points. Byrne, 6 points. Alexander Arnold, 1 point. Bueno, 1 point. Saka, 9 points. Trossard, 1 point. Salah, 3 points. March, 2 points. Haaland, 17 points. Mitrovic, 2 points. And Trippier was the captain for 16 points. Now, Eamon, we thought this manager was going to keep rising. They've stalled. And I have to say, bringing in Alexander Arnold is a curious transfer. It didn't really work. It didn't light the sky up. I mean, I wouldn't have brought him in there, but surely you could have found somebody else there. They'll be disappointed that they're down to 13th place, but they should take heart. They are making transfers, and that's probably what's going to hopefully be the big decider for this manager come the end of the season, is that they were doing some transfers. They woke up now. They've been asleep for a couple of weeks, but they have woke up. And they need to keep awake, and they need to keep their eyes focused. In my view, I think 11th place would be good for them. And no change in 14th place. Better idea, 22, 23, 28 points. Eamon. No transfers. In goals was Fabianski for 6 points. Salaba managed 1 point. Sanchez had no point. Diaz had no point. Andreas had 2 points. De Bruyne had 6 points. And Hojberg picked up 3 points. Ward-Prowse had 2 points. Ings had 1 point. Tony had 1 point. And their captain Salah has 6 points. Look, the case of the curtains are falling down for this guy. It's lights out. Last one out. Hit that switch. Close that door. This manager is kaput. Very well. Okay. Thanks for that, Eamon. There. I always love to get your insight into this. Game week 22, of course, is rapidly coming towards us. And Leeds and Man United have double game weeks coming up here now. Are we thinking that Man United are a bit of a good spell? What about the Leeds side of things? And I think it'd be worth a punt to have one or two Leeds players. If you could get them in there, I think Harrison can be a good player. Bamford is coming back on form a little bit. And I think if you have one or two of those players there, if you could afford to have that there, it would be good. I think possibly if you would have two of the Man United guys in there. Anybody from the Man United guys that you go for? Well, definitely I think I'd be having the Rashford in there, so I would. But Shaw is actually doing quite good defensively, and I think I would put him in there as well. And then Man City are playing against Spurs. Now, that's going to prove very interesting, and it's going to prove big for people who want after a captain. What's your thought on this? This is the Haaland versus Kane debate. Who would your captain be? Form would go with Haaland, I have to say. So you'd back Haaland. Yes, I would. I'd back Haaland. All right, okay. We look forward to game week 22 and to see what results come our way and how our managers are going to get on with things here, because some of them are, according to you, Eamon, have a bit of work to do. Certainly have a little bit of work to do. Now, of course, with Hector away this week, we have no Hector's hello, or Hector's hellos as he calls it there, because he's busy investigating. However, standing in for Hector, we have the host's hellos. You're not doing this, are you? I am. I'm going to step in here. He sent me a message. He says, could you give a shout out to these listeners? And look, I'm going to do this for him. Our listeners are there, Eamon. Look, it's bad enough we've got Hector's hellos. Now we're going to have the host's hellos. Like, When the next thing happens, mailbag or something like this, reading out emails and letters from our listeners here, whinging and complaining about the neighbours' dogs, maybe. Not at all, Eamon. Relax. I won't be long. Well, I certainly hope you won't be. Okay, listeners. Right. Hector has asked if I'd mention the following countries for our listeners. So a big shout out to you all out there who are listening to us in Austria, Bahrain, Barbados, Chile, listeners over in Finland, France, Germany, Laufen, Bavaria, especially. We have our listeners, of course, in Iraq, Japan, in the United States of America, Mexico, Monaco, New Zealand, all our listeners here in Ireland, of course, UK, Iceland, our listeners in Canada, Spain, Italy, Greece, Poland, Switzerland, and South Africa. We hope you're all keeping well, and hopefully Hector will be back with his own hellos next week. Yeah, man, that's about it. We have a shorter show. Well, we didn't have to listen to some of the rubbish coming from Hector. And look, Captain Fantastical Mick didn't have his few words of wisdom. So look, it's good, but I think it's to the point this week. There's been no dilly-dallying or no going off track. We would never have any of that with you on board. Indeed not. Okay, well, Eamon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the week and have a good weekend, and look forward to you coming back next weekend with more news, views, and comments and analysis. And listeners, once again, we always thank you for joining us, for subscribing and listening to us, taking time out of your day to join us on this journey through the year of fantasy football. And all that remains for me to say is that I hope you have a nice few days and enjoy the weekend, and hope that you'll be back with us next week. And until then, have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, good night. Take care of yourselves, stay well, and we'll be back next week. Slán.